What you're about to see is a remote viewing session done completely blind by the remote viewer. The remote viewer knows nothing about the target, nothing about the project at all. Now, I'm going to tell you what the target is so that when the remote viewer describes the session, you will be able to follow it along. Now, this particular target is dealing with the United States election and influencers. Now, this target is the Chinese influencers of the U.S. elections in 2024. Now, what we're looking for is subject A, who is a senior operative working for mainland China who will be successful in interfering with the outcome of the elections in the United States through any means and in any way in 2024. Now, when we say any means in any way, it can be through anything at all, by influencing people, bribery, it can be election hacking, computer stuff, anything, all right? Now, the influence that the Chinese mainland would try to have on the American elections can very well come in many different forms. So one remote viewer's results would not be necessarily the same as another remote viewer's results. You can assume that a foreign nation would try multiple ways to influence the American elections. Now, there's three focuses. The focuses are times. So the first focus is March 2024, right in the middle of the primary season. The second focus, focus 2, is October 2024. In October 2024, that'll be right in the heart of the main elections. And then the third focus is focus 3, and that's in November, right after the elections. And again, we're looking at the senior operative working for mainland China when most deeply involved in doing and planning influences through any means of the outcome of the 2024 elections, all right? And then March, October, and then again, and then in November, we're looking at the influencers' response to the outcome. All right, so now let's look at the remote viewing data. And remember, the remote viewer knows nothing about this that I just told you. And then after the remote viewer describes the session, we will tell the remote viewer what the actual target is and the target reveal, and there will be discussion, and we'll see the remote viewer's response to that as well. Okay, Chinese influencers in the U.S. elections 2024. Here we go. All right, Yeme, I want to welcome you to Deep News. And just to confirm to our audience, you actually have done a session on paper, and we're going to go through it, and you don't know anything about the target or the nature of the project. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Okay, so you're going to go through the session, and then after that, we'll tell you what the target is and the target reveal. Okay, so why don't you begin? I'm looking at your first sketch before your first page before your sketch. Why don't you just go right into it?
I perceived flat land with slight raises, large, tall, metallic structure with a circular-like thing within it or above it, on top. Man-made land, structures around, multiple structures around. I found focused at the target time on a subject, male, bald or low hair, tan skin, very slim build, the male subject was or is near or inside the metallic structure that I saw or see. It has a pointy nose, thin facial features, low to no hair. I see color hues of tan, also orange, possibly white within this space. I see subject moving in some sort, walking, I'm guessing. Again, thin frame, broad shoulders, straight up. His energy is a bit abrasive, sort of rubs most people the wrong way. He seems to be walking with or next to someone. I need to get, I had to get the deduction of an inmate or jail out of my head just because of the energy between the two. I'm not saying that that's what it is. It's just a deduction that I need to get out of my head so that I could move forward. I do get the sense of involuntary movement, involuntary actions, like being forced or told to move in a direction or told where to go, even though it's not what they wanted to do. For some, it feels like he does not want to be here, or he is leading someone to a place where they do not want to be. I could not figure out at that moment which one it was. This target subject, I'm calling subject A. It feels as though they are near or outside of a structure at this target time. The structure appears to be heavily watched. And when I say watched, like cameras, like watched within and watched without. I'm deducting cameras, but watched within and watched without, watched from. My first mind said guarded. I have a deduction of an observation tower. Moving into my first focus, as a deep mind probe with this target subject, my first instinct is mastermind. My first thought is mastermind. Understands things in ways most people do not. Does not seem to trust easily, or has problems with trust. Very introverted, but in spaces he has extroverted qualities when needed. He's an observer, very heavy observer. I get a random feeling that he is more than human, but not ET. But maybe he's just like superhuman. Who knows? Like he's got a very extrinsic, magical mind, I would call it. I keep getting this unrealistic feeling. His eyes blink in an odd way. Again, his mind, it doesn't feel like any mind I've explored. I see numbers and symbols, words. He's very quiet, speaks when he feels the need to do so. His eyes are just very deep, but also very surface, just very unique. And they kind of glisten when he moves, like he's not always physically here. I tend to do that sometimes, where I kind of leave and I go somewhere in my mind, and they say my eyes change. So I feel like this is what that may look like. Obviously, I've never seen myself do it. Continuing this deep mind probe, it's very intricate. He has got a hardness to him. He doesn't feel like a bad person to me, but his energy can catch people off guard. He's intertwined with using a lot of He's intertwined with using a lot of technology. This structure that he's in, or within, or around, seems to have an abundance of tech. He is with another man who is in dark colored clothing here. And I'm picking up on some activity. Very aware. He seems to recognize my energy. The way he this process, create, build, tech, at the base of the structure, he interacts with other subjects, but when he is at the top of the structure, he's very isolated. So like at the bottom of it, he'll move and communicate and go back and forth and it's very interactive. But once he gets up to, I guess, his space, you don't bother him, don't talk to him, don't disturb him, don't even ask him if he's hungry. Like, he's isolated and like zoned in deeply, very deep, like with his entire being. He seems to track and watch, using this location to retrieve information. Currently, with one other subject that I see around him, high security, very high watch. I see a lot of activity. He is tracking something. There are pinpoints, different location of specific tech. Like there's a central location, kind of like a "you are here" type of thing, but it's not like that. And then it boom, 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 boom. I hear sounds. Doo, 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 doo. And it just bounces. But it's pinging from a central location. I drew like a circle on a big board, a circle with a dot, and then like, I call them ping markings, I guess, kind of energetic frequencies. I'm moving. It's like a digital cloud that he's able to tap into a system that does not personally belong to him. He can hear and see things that are not his, or that are not in front of him. It's like he logs into a system that allows him to ping other devices in multiple locations. At the moment, like whatever he is watching or observing is pinging from multiple locations. I get deductions of military intelligence. I also get deduction of hacker, like super hacker. He seems to be very intrigued by this one specifically, though, because he's not seen anything do this before, like in this capacity. Like the sounds I'm hearing, they sound like a beeping, like I just described a beeping sound, but more like a sonar beeping, like what you would hear on a boat or a ship. I can't do it with my mouth. I hear it so clearly right here. Yeah, I can hear the tech. I also have a deduction of space station that's here. This is so intriguing, and this guy, my hacker intelligence dude, is like a kid in a candy store right now. Like whatever this project is has him super geeked. He is like, on the inside, he is leaping with joy. He's probably, even on the outside, he's got more expression in his features than he usually would. He's a very like subdued being. But like right now, he's like screaming, like, like he is screaming, and he's into whatever he's looking at. He he sees it. I see this screen with what looks like these embedded markings that's just embedded in the system that you can visibly see. And then there's the whatever blinking thing, and then the spaces it's tethered to. It's almost like it's tethered to something. There's like this screen takes up space. It's very high tech. It seems to have the ability to track different devices, people's cars, you name it, it can track it. That's kind of scary. I can sense it's like it can probably tracking me right now if this thing is what I think it is. Like if it wants to, it can. And it's moving so fast. Things keep popping up with a similar frequency or code that's connected to one thing specific, and it's widespread, like viral. It travels through. It reminds me of a network. Or what is that? It's right here. I feel it. I don't want to say cell phone network, but kind of like how that works, like deduct that, like how that works, like how you have what Verizon, AT&T, and then it pings across the nation, but it's connected to that tower or like that thing. That's just an example. Whatever it is, it's widespread, it's viral, it travels through different IP addresses. But like they're coming in from like the same source. It's like it's technologically polluting something, affecting something widespread. He's so excited about this, like about the findings, but it's not a good thing. This is a very problematic situation, but like kind of like a scientist. Oh no, this is really bad, but wow, look what I found. Like it's terrible, but like it's exciting because of his passion for this type of work. But it's terrible. It's very, very problematic. He has an affinity for like locating these types of things, and he's impressed, very impressed by whatever is going on here. It's causing things to happen that someone has to figure out how to stop. It's like gives me the energy of a global malware, like a global virus can shut everything down if it wanted to, or make everything work, or take over. That's terrifying, especially for places that already have like robotic situations, things that are operated robotically. Like other parts of the country are very big in that. We are not over here yet, but we're getting there. But like conceivably it could take over our cell phones and like screw stuff up. That's the energy I'm getting. Obviously that's my wild imagination, but that is my like way of painting the picture of what I'm feeling for you guys here. Is this a structure? Is this a structure? I see a whole. So with my naked eye, it looks the way we perceive flying saucers, spaceships to look. The circle, the dome situation. I cannot say that that's what it is, but it is not on the ground. It is non-surface, this object. And it shatters into pieces. There's so much energy around it. I can feel it through my body. It shatters into pieces. It's scattered. Finding location, magnetic, friction, glitches in technology, artificial, natural components, man-made as well. Whatever this is made out of, it has a combination of all the things. It's connected to multiple components all over the place. It's connected to one thing. So those little things that were being pinged across the galaxy, the nation, is connected to one big thing. So it's almost like, oh, there's so much energy. It's like magnetic. It's wherever this is from, it's natural. But where it currently is, it is not natural. I don't know if that made any sense, but let me try to say that again. The pieces of this object, non-surface situation that has shattered, it's not from where it is. And so where it's from, those pieces are natural material of that place. Where it is not natural. Okay, I think that made more sense in my head. There is this field of magnetic frequency pulling inward. It's like the reason people's ears ring. His system detects it. Like it's like this magnetic, you can feel the shaking of the, it seems so unreal. Like it's like something you see on TV. It's unrealistic. What? It's like the pieces are shaking, like, and they're affecting the poles in the earth. I feel so much magnetic frequency and pulling and separating, and yeah, I don't know what this means, but you'll see it. And high frequency sounds, large blowing sounds push outward. I wish I could make the sounds I hear in my head out loud. it's I feel like this dude is a super hacker and was either trained by the military or was a civilian, and the military government found him because he was doing dumb stuff, got caught, and they was like, we need you, so we're not gonna throw you away, but you do need to work for us because we need this expertise. Like, that's the energy I get from this guy. He probably was about to be in like big trouble, but they found him of some use, so they kept him. Typical governmental stuff. Oh, I can use you. You may stay. Versus, we need you. Like, oh, I'm so glad they don't do that to us. Now he works within this structure. It does seem like he is on watch. I do feel like he is being guarded as well. I don't know if it's to protect him or to keep him from running away. But with technology like this, I don't think he's going anywhere. Like, if that were the case. Okay, oh, that was so loud. Hold on one second. Why are you smiling like that?
I'm just listening.
Okay. I have another focus, don't I?
Focus 2.
That was so intense.
That was focus 1, so now we go to focus 2.
Focus 2. He's in a different location. The location is darker in color, like, how lighting is darker in certain places, but also has a more dreary energy to it. Flat structure, feels residential or personal. I hear music, and he's in like homey clothing. When I say like something I wouldn't wear in public, but some people do wear this in public. Like real homey, maybe he's worn it a couple of times. It says he hasn't left the house. It's not dirty type of clothing, or like, the hoodie, sweatpant-ish looking clothing. I have deduction of home. I have deduction of library. He feels severely ADHD, and technology seems to help him focus in front of a screen. He's in front of a screen. It's small, but there's multiple ones. It's like, how people have like 3 or 4 computers just sitting on their desks or whatever. I hear clicking sounds back and forth. I hear like the, type of sounds clicking. Definitely getting super hacker vibes. So like I'm sticking with that right now. I am deducting black market. I'm deducting scammers. Like I'm getting that type of energy. Like he's using his powers for evil. It's probably how he got caught. He feels like a teenager or maybe like 20s to 30s type of guy who stays in the house to himself, eats pizza, drinks pop, loner vibes, you know, probably takes medication for his ADD or to keep him focused. Feels like he's one of those that don't use the water to drink it, like they just swallow it to get it over with and go on about their day. But like, you know, he's a loner. He likes to stay by himself, but he likes who he likes. He has his own unique organization. I can identify with that. He has a very intricate mind, but it's more muddled right now. He seems more human here. And to me, it feels like he may be more muddled because of medication. And it stops that frequency. See, you guys try to drug us, people who are ADHD. and those medications, they stop our frequency, even though we're all over the place. Like this guy is all over. And I say we because I have this disorder. And even though we're all over the place, he's all over the place. There's a way to reel us in, or maybe allow us to use that energy to do the things we want to do or need to do. Like that's what he's doing here, but he still feels like he has to, you know, take that pill to get his brain to do what it's supposed to do. Like I said, he seems more human here.
I think at this point we're going to focus 3.
He's got feelings. Big feelings. Like he is angry. He's upset. He's screaming. But he's accomplished. It's like the feeling someone gets when someone is struggling to complete the second to last level of a video game. Like, I'm almost there. I'm right here. And I guess because this is not a game, this is like real life, he's upset. Like, I know I can do this. Why can I not do this? Type of something. But he gets so far in this. Something's missing, mixed emotions. He's also proud because he got this far, but disappointed because he has not yet fully completed this task. It's like he's almost there. It's like all someone has to do in the paradigm is blink 4 times instead of 3, and he can find it. You know, how things shift. And it's like he's right there. It's on its trail. He is close. So on one hand, he's angry, upset, defeated. On another hand, he feels accomplished. But he knows that there is something that's incomplete here. He can feel it. And he doesn't want to stop. Like, dude probably won't sleep until he figures it out.
Now, I think you went into a cognitive impairment scale for this subject at this time. Do you want to lead us through that?
Absolutely. Oh, his mind is amazing. I love neurodivergent people. I feel like he's a neurodivergent person. Natural internal brain, the natural side, very, very high, medium to high. Like, you know, well, it's like medium to low, but that medium it's like, if it were 50, it's probably at a 55, 60, you know, so he's not like super zooted or anything. I wrote down ADHD. I circled that one. I also wrote high spectrum autism. So like the way his mind clicks, like it just, and he's got tics. Like he'll get pissed real easily. He has very high highs and very low lows. This is for focus 1. It's real medium. For focus 2, it's way up there. So it's like focus 1 is like right here with the natural, my brain just stopped. Natural internal brain impairment. And then like focus 2 is a little higher. And I'm thinking that might be, like I said earlier, because of the medications. And so this is where I'm going into the artificial. And my focus 2 is real low. Does not feel like he took meds there at all, which is probably why on the other side it was real high. So that makes sense. And for focus 1, it's like way up there, artificial impairment. I have down medication, possibly for ADHD to help focus. He's like hyper focused. Whatever he, even if it's not medication, like maybe he got hooked up to a machine that like, electric shock, focus. I don't know. They have all kinds of stuff these days that you can do to help you focus without popping a pill. But whatever it is, it's that artificial impairment or whatever difference is very, very high. Like 80%, close to 90. Hearing and physical. Focus 1.
Okay, so this is for external influences now.
Yes, sorry. External influences. And the hearing and physical for the external influences. For focus 1, they're middle range. It's governmental. It feels governmental. Obviously, I have to deduct that because I don't know. But for focus 2, they're like neck and neck. They're like, right here. And that one is like family, friends. I also get some AI energy in that space. I don't know why, but it's there. Like maybe an AI has been involved in his life for a while, interfering. It's kind of what it feels like, which I wouldn't put it past it. ET, very neutral interference, but like it's basically what they do in the world anyway. Nothing too drastic. It's very, very low. Like their natural interference that they're already doing around here in life. It's not like something specific to him. And that's in both focuses. They are watching him. They're not talking to him or doing anything or taking over his body or whatever, but they have heavy eyes on him. Heavy eyes. And for my AI external, focus 1, super high, which makes sense because he's around all that technology. Like when I say high, it's at the highest level on this bar. For my focus 2, it's midway, maybe a little under midway, but still there. Like I said, I feel like he has had some sort of artificial intelligent interference externally for some time now, which might be why his affinity for technology is so deep. I feel like we all have callings and we all have different affinities and we don't know why. And this artificial intelligence is like, it could be his brother. Like, like this, it's close. And it could be because of, like Siri, but maybe something way more high tech than a Siri would be. Something that can have emotion and communicate back with you. I get, and I'm obviously it's a deduction, but DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Gideon, how she was. Like, she started to develop communication, to be able to actually communicate with, even though she was created, communicate with the people, develop emotions for the people, have emotions of herself and express them. And I feel like something like that may have interfered in his life artificially. And it's a big part of him. And his tech it's up there. Like, his best friend's probably a computer.
Okay, well, he's clearly a tech-oriented person.
Oh, yes.
That's interesting. When you had that non-surface structure and you said it shattered into pieces, did you mean physically shattered or just electronically stuff zoomed out of it?
That's a great question. Let me go revisit it. I assumed physically shattered. Let me revisit that real quick.
Normally you would have drawn an exploding ship if that happened, and you didn't do that.
Not necessarily, because I'm not big on drawing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
I feel more than anything. But I did mention right afterwards that there were scattered pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go into that just to double check. I can't tell now.
Right.
So initially, only because I was asked, so I'm trying to take myself out of my conscious mind real quick. I know what I feel is everything is energetic within this anyways. So yes, energetic frequencies bouncing off the walls. I also do get the tangible feeling of scattered pieces, physical pieces that are connected to the energy frequencies that are also shooting from other places and spaces.
Okay. Are you ready to hear the target?
Absolutely. I've been waiting on this all month.
Okay. All right, so here's the target reveal for the Deep News Project.
Is this something I can visibly see?
No, it's just something you're going to hear this time. We're interested in external influences on the U.S. elections in 2024. In particular, we're interested in Chinese influencers of the U.S. elections in 2024. The target subject is a senior operative, that's subject A, working for mainland China, who will be successful at interfering with the outcome of elections in the United States through any means and in any way in 2024. And
I drew a map that looks
you got hacking. This is electronic. And focus one is is March in 2024. That'll be next month from this recording. That's right in the middle of the primary season and so on. Focus 2 is in October. That's when he's going wacky. That's in the middle of the main election. And Focus 3 is November, right after the election. So we wanted to see this senior operative who's a Chinese influencer. Now that doesn't mean he is Chinese, but it does mean he's working for
I don't think he's Chinese, but I did get some Asian influence.
Yeah,
I never said that, but I did get that.
He's working for mainland China, no matter what kind of ethnicity he is. And what you got is, this is a totally blind session. You didn't know anything about it. You knew it was a deep news session. And we cover everything imaginable in this thing. And you came up with a super hacker. And that makes sense from the...
Whatever he's pinging. So what he's pinging are the polls.
Yeah, you came in with a super hacker.
Oh,
and
look at that map with the red dots.
That would make sense that they would be investing a lot of energy in electronic influencing and surveillance and things like that with regard to the election.
Whatever has created the device he's on is amazing.
Yeah, this is super high tech that
this is not a normal device.
Yeah, this is not the type of stuff that normal people think about when we think about hacking. we think about some teenager behind a laptop that's sort of hiking into. This is not that. This is on the level of the highest
So
security.
he is on high surveillance. He is being super watched because
He's
he's
being
also watching. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's a combination of he's being watched and he's watching.
Mm-hmm. I
This
did
is-
get the feeling of like Asian technology. I'm like, this is not technology you're gonna find here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they got flying cars and stuff already. They're already Jetsons on that side of the world. The Jetsons.
Yeah, there's technology that the public sees, and there's technology that the public is never shown, and this is clearly the tech that the public knows nothing about.
He is spiking and following and trying to collect. I'm
That-
impressed. Too bad it's for evil.
That non-surface structure seems to suggest that might have been a secret space program or an ET ship that these operatives didn't want to have them spy on them. So maybe it was spying on the. Anyway, it seems to have blown
Well,
up.
of course they have to have their hand in everything.
Yeah, they got rid of it. They blew it up in some way so that there's a.
Oh, maybe they blew it up. Is that why this piece is?
Well, that's what I was thinking. That if this thing was, you said very clearly that it was that they were being watched.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if that's one of the things that's watching them, at some point they might want to say, let's
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 rid
knock
of
this
that.
thing out of the way. And so, yeah. And remember, if it was one of the good ET ships, they won't defend themselves.
Right.
So if that happened, yeah. Yeme, I want to say this was a very fascinating session, and that's to put it mildly. Yeah, so whatever our public thinks about computer hacking, drop it. It has nothing to do with what's really happening. What really happens is way more than that.
I would like to be there. I'm impressed. Whoever this guy is, I know he's probably a bad guy, but the bad guys have all the cool powers.
Yeah. You know,
I'm
this
impressed.
this reminds me
Like
of,
global malware. Like he is like virus. Pew, booyah.
yeah.
Amazing. It's amazing. It's terrible, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like that gift.
Yeah, the level of technological sophistication here is way beyond anything that the normal person thinks about.
Usually I'm upset when I hear about all the buffoonery. I'm trying to watch my sailor language. I know I have a potty mouth. All the buffoonery that goes on in the government. But this one here has excited me.
Yeah, well, this is the Chinese side of the government. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the movie by Oliver Stone, the documentary on Snowden, and where he was involved in the government surveillance, U.S. government surveillance of everybody, and he described it as just way beyond anything anyone ever imagined. It was surveillance of everything. Every phone call, every text, everything. It was deep surveillance over the entire country, not just international, but also nationally. And it had no sort of similarity to anything that normal people would have thought about. It was way more. And when I'm looking at your session, it says, I was saying to myself, wow, the Chinese have the same thing. They have that same
But this
level.
guy's American.
Yeah, but he's working for mainland China.
Is he here?
Well, he's working for mainland China somewhere, and he's here. What might be freaky is if he's working in an American facility
I think he is.
for like the American government, but in fact he's really working for mainland China.
I feel like he's out here somewhere.
That could be interesting. So the Defense Department
Because
may
I
be
felt like the technology wasn't from where it's from. Like it wasn't where it's from.
well, that might be why it was reminding me of the Snowden thing. This could be an American thing, but he's actually got some type of.
Scandalous.
That would actually make sense with regard to the flying saucer type thing that we'll put into pieces, because the Americans would not want the good ETs to be spying on them if they thought they were
So,
being spied
is
on.
he a good guy or a bad guy? Is the
He's
question.
working for the Chinese, no matter what he is.
So, is this good or bad?
Well, the Americans don't want anybody influencing their elections.
Why?
So-
What do the Chinese get out of their election? Out of our elections?
Well, controlling the American elections or influencing them in some way can have a huge payback to mainland China. So they're definitely, no one's going to just, the American electoral system is just so open, it's so tempting for any government to say, let's mess with it and get some outcome that's favorable to us.
This year's election, we've been studying it and watching it for about a year and a half now, a little over a year now that I can remember. 2 Decembers ago, I think, we tapped into this year's election and what it would look like. And it's been scandalous. This seems to be one of the most scandalous and everyone's no, wait, let me try to control this. Something about this year, this happening year, it feels like people, obviously the government knows stuff that we don't know, but it feels like whatever is so particular about this year and the people involved in this election across the entire world, we even talked about what the Vatican's, just different things across the world. There's some shenanigans, working on my language. There's some shenanigans going on here. It's big. I might actually pay attention to this election because I want to see what's about to happen. I want to see what's happening here. There's a reason other governments are trying to stop it. There's a reason why this government is trying to stop it. We just had baby Kennedy about to get assassinated. There's a lot, baby Kennedy, I can't think of names right now, but there's a lot of pieces and components. We talked about Trump a few months ago and how what's happening with him, in July, I can't remember, I think something like that, June or July. It was 7 months from whenever we were.
We're touching Bobby Kennedy Jr., we're touching Trump, we're touching Biden,
Right.
We're touching everybody, and everywhere we look, we find...
The aliens are even interfering. What's happening this year?
Well, we see the interference coming from all directions. Here, Chinese, but sometimes ET influence, sometimes it's a free-for-all. It's actually calling into question, at this point, it's calling into question the basic concept of American democracy, whether it can even function.
It can't.
It's got some real challenges.
It's not really democracy.
The traditional understanding of democracy, where everyone just sits around and thinks and decides who they want to vote for, that's becoming more and more obsolete or impossible in the context.
I don't know. Well, no, actually, I do know this is very important. I was wondering this last night, too. I was just on a call with the Mamos elders in the mountains yesterday, and I could feel his sadness. Everyone's telepathic in that space. I could feel it. I started crying immediately because I could feel what he was going through. But he said that whatever's going on with our government here is what's affecting the world. And it is something big is about to happen, which we've seen already. Something big is about to happen that's going to be very detrimental to the world, to the universe, to the land. And if we don't shift what we're doing, which is what Farsight stands for, taking one person at a time. This is how it meant to me last night. Taking one step at a time to shift our mindsets so that we can deliver what we need to deliver, so that you guys can shift your mindset and shift the world around you, which can only shift the world around you. That's what Farsight stands for. And the only way we can stop whatever is coming, because whatever is coming is big. I have seen it. I feel it. People that don't even have technology have seen it and feel it. And I sense the fear.
Yeah.
We can't have that. This is why disclosure is important. Like the things we're talking about now, the things we're viewing, like I'm seeing how they're coming together.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing this story that's being built. And the next step is, well, what do we have to do? How do we fix it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what do we do to shift it? And it starts with you. It starts with us, the people that can see it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Yeme, this has been a very fascinating session, and there's only one thing I know for certain. We go on to the next one.
Can I have a vacation first?
I know you've been asking for that for a while. We'll see. We'll try. Okay, Yeme, thank you so much.